Hey guys, welcome back to Macy Acres. I'm Chris, and in today's episode, we're going to do another project here in the garage because, as Alan Jackson would say, it's hotter than a hoochie coochie outside. So I bought this back when Sears still had stores, and they had Craftsman tools in them. Went in there, I bought this. I really liked the tool. It was a great blower. I've used it for many years, and all of a sudden it started bogging down a couple years back, and I cleaned out the exhaust filter. There's one in the muffler, and it builds up carbon. It ran pretty well after that, and then it just started bogging down again. So I figured it might have a bad batch of gas, so it might have been burning extra carbon up into the filter. So I looked at it. It was actually clean. So then I started cleaning the carburetor, looked at the fuel filter, didn't see really anything there. Could never get it to really run worth a darn, and now it just doesn't want to start. I've got spark, I've got compression, I've got all that. We've checked all that. So I decided, you know what? It's just time to replace it with a new carburetor. This is a carburetor kit I bought online at that, yes, I know, Jungle website, but you know what? It's got good ratings. A lot of people have liked that, so I went ahead and went with that. It comes with a spark plug. It comes with the hoses, everything you need to fix this thing up. It also comes with a new air filter that goes on the back of here. That's a big key as well. If those don't stay clean and oiled, then you get all nasty crud up in there and then it sucks it in and you got all kinds of problems. But anyway, we're going to take this thing apart. I'm going to show you how easy it is to get in here and to work on this carburetor. You got your carburetor down here. You got your air filter on the back. Got a primer bulb down here. You can see it there. Spark plug up here. We're going to just go ahead and pull that off the spark plug so we don't accidentally try to start it. Not that I think it's going to start, but hey, you never know. In order to get this off, we've got to take a screwdriver. I usually pry it from this side. It easily pops open that way a little bit. Then you take that and you slide it out. Normally you can push in on this side, but it's hard to see that side, so I don't follow the rules. Here's your air filter. There's a new one in your kit box here. Spark plug, new hoses, another hose that I just tossed in there. Here's your fuel mixing device. As most people would call it your carburetor. Carburetor. All right, in order to get that off, you got to take out this air housing. And if this screwdriver's not big enough, that seems to be the story of my life. It's not big enough. Anyway, take this, unscrew this here, unscrew this here. These screws go all the way through to the main body housing. Should be able to slowly pull this off. There's a linkage right up here. You can't see it too well. We're going to move that out of the way. That linkage in there, I'll zoom in. Got to take that linkage and you just pull it off. We'll zoom back out. Now we've got hoses hooked up everywhere. This is your primer hose. I'm going to see if we can wiggle it off of here. Now I'm going to warn you, you're going to get fuel on stuff because it's going to leak out of everything. That's what fuel does. Make sure you still got this gasket in here. Make sure it stays clean. That's your gasket between your fuel happener device and everything else. That is your line to come up from your primer bulb. Then this runs down here. This is your throttle cable that runs up into that part. That's me pulling the cable. All right. So this is your carburetor. I'm going to pull that off. And that's all there is to this carburetor. There's not much. I have a feeling over the years, see, that's kind of looking like it's falling apart. If you look here, this looks like it's starting to fall apart. So I have a feeling the inside of it's probably got some varnish in it. We're just going to toss that to the side here, but let's compare. They look very similar. Looks very similar. Whenever you're trying to feed hose back into an old tank, I usually take it and I cut an angle. Get a nice angle like that. Stick that in one of the corners. And then if you twist a little bit at a time, it'll start to work its way in. And I just keep wiggling it in, wiggling it in. Now, what you want to do is you want to have enough hose that it drops down here in the bottom of the tank. If you go too short, you're only going to use fuel up to about this point. So you want to make sure you get that all the way down in there. So I'm going to go ahead and get this wiggled down in there, and then I'll bring you guys back in. All right, so I've got the fuel line, got plenty of it to tuck down in there. Here's my fuel filter. I'm going with a little bit larger fuel filter, and it's a heavier fuel filter. It'll help hold this down to the bottom. Okay, now that I got that in there, you just take that, drop it back down in the tank. Don't cut this yet until you figure out where your carburetor is going to go. All right, this line comes off the bottom of your primer bulb. This is like an overflow line. It goes back into your tank. There's a little piece inside your tank right here, and this hose is had a better day. All right, first things first, we're going to go ahead and cut this to length. I'm going to get pretty close, cut it a little long. Only need about that much of it. We're going to run that down inside this tank. We're going to go right here in this other small opening that's here. Should have cut it at a little bit of an angle, but we'll get it in there. This primer bulb, the new one, I went ahead and put back on, so that way I don't get the hoses mixed up. But this is a return line that goes back into the tank. This will go into the bottom of your carburetor. That's going to be your filter line. As you can see down in there, there's your filter. So then you put your two vacuum lines, this front one, which is going to go to this side of your carburetor, and that one, which will go to the other side of your carburetor. Those are what pull the fuel through and prime the carburetor. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to get those set up to where they're ready to go and primed. I'm going to go ahead next, and I'm going to remove this primer bulb. It's really easy to remove the primer bulb. I'll show you the other one. There's a couple little tabs on the back side of it. Pretty easy. You just squeeze those in and you'll pull it out. I'm going to run that up into there. Now we need to cut another hose that's going to go from here down to your primer tube, because that's part of your priming sequence. We'll make sure we got that. So we're going to get that next. Actually, we're going to go ahead and stick this line on the bottom of the carburetor. That's your fuel filter line. Our other line, which is this big black line, we're going to go ahead and run another one of these hoses. Let's measure this out roughly. About to there. Got a little extra. Better have a little extra than too short again. Put that on there. Get it down there nice and tight. Run that up onto the fuel, making it happen or whatever device here. Those lines up there really good. Okay, so now you got all your hoses hooked up. So these are your two lines that you use to prime. This is your return line. It comes down here, and if we have a problem, we'll change it up. Now all we have to do is put this back together. In order to do that, we've got a gasket on here. This thing goes on like so. Got that like that. Those bolts go right through there. Don't forget to hook up your throttle cable before you get too far along. Your throttle cable's back here. It goes into that top ring. So push it through and up. Now that it's in, now it will pull a little bit on your throttle, but that's okay. You want to make sure this is tight. You don't want to just torque the heck out of it and, tear everything up. I know some people that do that. Want it good and snug though. Helps keep dirt and stuff out of that one little gasket that's in there. All right, we're going to go ahead and remount the tank on. Tank goes on the bottom side here. There's little screws on the top side. Tank mounting is just the reverse of taking it off. 2 screws hold it in place. Now the other screw, it goes up here. Got the air filter here. This is the new one? Nope, that's the old one. Here's the new one. Ooh, it's even thicker. Get that sucker to go right around there. We'll squish that thing in there. We'll make it work. It's really tall, but I'd rather have a nice tall one in there than not have one in there. All right, so all that's in there. The next thing we're going to do, since this kit comes with a new spark plug, we're going to go ahead and replace the spark plug too. We got that right here. So we're going to have to get a spark plug removal tool. And I'll check the gap on that. I'm going to take this one out. And see if we can get it to... Yep, there we go. That loosened it up. Pull this old one out of here and we'll look and see if there's a difference between them. You always want to check that, especially if you got the stock one in there. So there's a stock one. She's looking kind of mean green. The new one's looking pretty nice and clean. And they look very similar. I don't see much of a difference, so let's go ahead and throw that one out. And we can get this one to thread in. Oh, come on there, Bessie. You want to go in there. Didn't cross thread or anything. By the way, that's why you want to use hand tools to do this. All right, now, want to check, make sure there's your start, there's your run. You want to make sure when you push it over to start that when you pull your trigger, it pops it back to run. Check down in there, make sure everything is moving properly. Looks all good. I'm going to take my fuel cap I have down here. I'm going to wipe it down, see if I got any dirt on it. You know, the best thing they ever did with these fuel caps is add this little catch. Because you know how many times I have pulled a cap off of something and it decided to take a run. All right, so we got the new carburetor on there. We got the new primer bulb. We've got the new spark plug. Let's see if we can prime this up and get it to fire. So here it is. Here's the leaf blower. We're going to go ahead and put some fuel in it. That's the primer bulb. Let's see if we can get this thing to prime up. Now, first time you prime it, there's probably no fuel in the line, so it's going to take a little bit to prime it. I see fuel going back into the tank. I see it priming up the carburetor. This thing usually takes about 15 pushes, but we had to do quite a few more there. For this one, you make sure you put it in the start position after you've primed it. Got it in start up here. Let's go ahead and pull it and see what we got. Couple more pushes here. Now we're going to cheat. I've got a cool little tool that I bought back when I bought a weed whacker from Sears. It's this tool. Stick it in the side. Acts like it's not getting any spark, so let's double check, make sure we're getting spark. May still not be gapped well enough, so we'll... All right, I'm not going to do any magic to make it look like, hey, this magically started working and, you know, hey, a simple carburetor fix would fix the problem. Well, I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to be upfront and honest with you. A lot of these people go out here on YouTube and they'll show you, hey, we'll just throw a carburetor on here, or we'll take a vehicle that's been sitting in the tree line for 20 years and they'll try to start it up and, you know, they'll tinker around with it and finally they get it fired up and running. And I'm not going to lie to you because that's wrong. Last time I used this, it seemed like we were having a fuel to air ratio issue. But since this thing wouldn't start and I was getting fuel, I was getting spark, I realized I had something else going on. So I got out the old compression gauge. So again, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to say I magically made this work because that's just wrong. I'm going to show you failures do happen. If you look here, there's a wonderful gauge. You can barely see it, but I'm going to tell you what it says right now. It says 0 because I haven't pulled on this. But I had a funny feeling that I had a compression problem. After I did all this work, I was getting fuel and it wouldn't start. Let's take a look at this. When I go to pull on it now, the highest value that I got, and I doubt you can see it, is about 31 PSI. I ended up taking off the muffler. And down on the inside, I noticed, I'm going to come around to this side of the table. I look down inside there. It's very hard to see. I don't have the best light in here tonight. But there is some scoring on those pistons. And I put a little oil in there, gave it a shot, see if it would build up any pressure, and it wouldn't. And there is definite scoring. The rings look like they have, you know, had a better day. All right, guys, I'm going to come back around to this side of the table. We're going to have a little chat. When it comes down to it, I'm accepting defeat on this project, and I'm going to tell you why. If I were to actually put money and cents together and I could do this video out to where I could show, oh, will it run? Of course I got it to run, because I'd be changing out the bottom end of this, changing out the whole block, the whole 9 yards. After I noticed the scoring in there and everything else, it's really not worth spending the money. And I'll tell you, the amount of money that it would actually take to fix this is about $90 to $120. When I bought this back at about probably 2016, 2015, somewhere around in there, it cost me 150 bucks. So why would I want to spend that amount of money when I'm already over the halfway point of just getting a new one today? So that's why I'm going to leave it up to you guys. I want to know what brand or what particular models, or do you like the battery powered? I need something that's portable. I don't want a plug-in style. I want something that is battery powered, or and preferably DeWalt if you guys like that. If there's a particular series of DeWalt ones you guys like, or I would even go Bauer brand of Harbor Freight. Um, or I'd even go with another gas powered one. I just want to know what you guys think, because honestly, by the time I put all the money into this and I spend the time away from my family, I'm going to invest a lot of time and effort when I could have just gone out and bought another one. And, burning 20 bucks to try to figure out whether or not I could fix this, that's 20 bucks, not a big deal. And the good thing about it is that I still have extra parts for all the other two-cycle motors I have, because I do have quite a few other two-cycle motors on hedge trimmers and weed whackers and rototillers, things like that. So having a few extra parts around for two-cycle isn't going to be too bad. I'm going to harvest the good parts off of this thing and get rid of the rest. So again, I'm accepting defeat, guys. You watch a lot of these videos out here on YouTube. Will it start after 20 years of sitting in a field and they just miraculously get it running? Well, that's all great and wonderful, but there are defeats. They do happen, and this is one of them. So if you guys have any suggestions, please throw them down there in the comments. Again, subscribe to the channel. We do have success stories. This just happens to be a failure. It is what it is. So until next time, guys, this is Macy Acres. And we're putting back together this blower. And we're putting back to this blower. We're going to throw the old champion plug right back in. And we're going to take the other parts and put them away. And we're going to clean up this mess I made. I always tend to make a huge mess. Let's put that spark plug back in. Tighten everything back down so that way I don't have a bunch of stuff sitting around. Can't see me for the pipe. That shaft doesn't want to fit in there. Let's try that again. Just try harder. Shove harder. My goodness, they made these long enough. I only know what it's like to be short. I don't know what it's like to be long. These are long. Oil's coming out of every orifice of this thing. I got tools laying everywhere. And we'll be coming around the mountain. We'll be coming around the mountain. She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. Yeehaw. That's done. Put back together. It's going on the heap of stuff to tear apart. Salvage. Get rid of. Keep on moving. Keep on trucking. Keep on moving.